You want a housewife, but you can't even provide the house. Make it make sense. I was talking with my mom about this, and we were talking about the direction in which we as young adults, we as people, we as young men, but really just the overall conversation of people, how we will blindly follow those who have no direction, no sense of purpose. And I was asking her because my parents, after 50 something years of marriage together, and I was like, what do you notice is the difference in the state of unity and marriage and leadership today that, back then? And she was saying, a lot of these young men want a housewife, but they can't even provide the house. They don't even know how to lead. They want a submissive partner, but what's worth submitting to? I was like, oh, that's a word. And she then proceeded to go on and talk about how, as pertains to even outside of marriage, even outside of the relationship, just when you're looking for um, uh, something to follow, right? It requires you to have the spirit of discernment with what you're following. Because don't follow someone and then they will take you blindly into the woods. Oh, we'll see how this goes. No, 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 no. If I'm trying to go somewhere, I'm trying to go somewhere with a purpose, right? Why am I going to leave it up to case in point? She said, if you're a young woman, but specifically as this pertains to you in the adult world, in life, wherever, a job, a colleague, mentor, on a project, whatever the case may be, you can smell the BS from a mile away when someone who does not speak with conviction, who knows what they're doing, and also commanding respect. Because we had pivoted the conversation, and she talked about how, like, because I had expressed, like, there's a difference between the way that you and dad would always parent. Both my parents were in the military, and my dad's a military man through and through, like a man of few words. I always tell people, if you want to have a conversation with him, cut the BS, get right to it. And I said to him, I said, Dad, the difference between you and mom was that she commanded respect, right? She could give us one look, and not a look out of, like, we feared her out of respect, not out of, like, the other kind of a fear. And I said, and it would always frustrate him because he would never understand why we would want to go to mom first when we would want to tell her exciting news or ask her questions. And my mom rightfully said to him, because she took the time for what it was to foster, build, and maintain the relationship with her children. You, as the parent, as the adult, it is your responsibility to make sure, especially in those early years, because your child has no agency yet, it is your job to earn their respect and their love and to show them why. And in this era of, well, because I said so, that doesn't, you have to model the behavior you want to see in your child. Therefore, you have to model the behavior you want to see in your colleagues. You have to model the behavior you want to see in your company. You have to model the behavior you want to see in your enterprise, your agency. And that's lost on people. So, be it a relationship, platonic, familial, romantic, whatever the case may be, you have to model the behavior. And not enough people will take the time for what it is to self evaluate, because then when they ask people or when they say, I don't know why so and so's cutting up. Really? Because based off of your behavior, based off how you run your business, based off of how you run yourself, right? People will respect you the way that you respect yourself. But when you set the tone of expectation, like, one of the things I always appreciate about my mom, both my parents, but really my mom, is that you always knew where you stood with her. There were no games to be had. Like, she modeled that behavior so well. Excuse me, why are you speaking to me like this? Am I raising my voice at you? Did I not give you the professional courtesy to allow you to finish? So why are you interrupting me? And when a black woman, okay, when a black woman gives you and what's even worse is because she's from the South, and sometimes her comments and even her children aren't spared from this. You don't know if it's a backhanded compliment or if it's a hug. So the moral of the story is, right, you want a housewife, but you can't even provide the house. Model the behavior you want to see. People can smell the BS. And when they smell the BS, they're not likely to follow you when you don't know where you're going, what you're doing, what the end result with a vision.